The main problem that we have right now is we've got a problem.
For the first time this season, Newcastle have tasted defeat at home. So from the controversy around the referee robbery, to the issue in Newcastle's attack, to Eddie Howe's tactical fragility. Plus, is Newcastle's £29 million playmaker Target the answer? And who are the two Newcastle players facing suspension risk ahead of Chelsea and Arsenal games? As per, let's break it all down and discuss the 5 things we learned from Newcastle United 0 Brighton and Hove Albion 1.
Let's go!
Starting off with the Isak problem. Following Newcastle United's recent defeat, club legend Alan Shearer expressed frustration over the team's ongoing inability to convert chances into goals. This match underscored a recurring issue for Eddie Howe's side, which has managed to score only 8 goals in their first 8 Premier League matches this season, placing them among the league's lowest-scoring teams. Shearer took to social media to criticise Newcastle's finishing, labelling their performance as Newcastle very poor in front of goal again. He reiterated his concerns on BBC Match of the Day, emphasising that the team's finishing needs improvement by saying, "I think there are a few things missing from Newcastle's performance today and all season, but the biggest thing is in front of goal. They were so poor in front of goal today, and in several other games. That has to change." Alexander Isak, who has recently returned from injury, struggled to make a significant impact against Brighton. His decline in form is notable compared to his impressive tally of 25 goals last season. Despite having the highest expected goals in the match, Isak failed to capitalise on crucial opportunities, which could have altered the match's outcome in Newcastle's favour. Shearer's frustrations were echoed by former Newcastle goalkeeper Shay Given, who highlighted a critical moment involving Isak just before Brighton scored. Speaking on BBC Match of the Day, Given remarked, "It was a big moment. Alexander Isak had a huge chance just before they scored. And again, I don't know what's wrong with Alexander this year. He has scored only 1 goal this season. It's a brilliant save from Verbruggen. But I think there's enough time to go around him maybe and slot it into the empty net." This reflects the sentiment that Isak's current form is a shadow of his previous self. Isak's dip in performance can be attributed to several factors such as injury recovery. Having just returned from injury, he is still regaining match sharpness after a prolonged absence, or even contract negotiations as Isak is in talks over a new contract at Newcastle, a situation that has previously affected teammate Anthony Gordon. Once Gordon's contract was resolved, he appeared revitalised on the pitch, suggesting that Isak may also benefit from clarity regarding his future. While I believe Isak can regain his form, every striker experiences tough spells, as evidenced by Erling Haaland, who has not scored in his last 3 Premier League games. There are concerning aspects of his game. Standing at 6-2, Isak has scored only 3-headed goals since joining Newcastle, and struggles to win aerial duels this season, winning a very low 31.3. For a player of his height, this lack of effectiveness in the air is troubling. In the recent match, Newcastle frequently played down the flanks. However, Isak's limitations in heading crosses seem to restrict the team's effectiveness when utilising wide play. His aerial challenges need improvement to better complement Newcastle's attacking strategies. Overall, Newcastle's struggles in front of goal reflect broader challenges within the team. Addressing these issues, particularly the performance of players like Isak, will be crucial as they aim to turn their season around. While I remain optimistic about Isak's potential return to form, enhancing his aerial ability could significantly impact Newcastle's attacking options moving forward. Then we also learned about Eddie Howe's tactical error. In the match, Bruno Guimaraes stood out for Newcastle, showcasing his creative abilities with incisive passes that initially helped the team establish control. Statistically, Guimaraes excelled, having a 7.5 match rating, 63 touches, 1 in the opposition box, 100% successful dribbles, 11 passes into the final third, 2 accurate long balls, 4 tackles won, 6 recoveries, 9 duels won, 2 chances created, 1 big chance created, and 2 shots. His through ball for Alexander Isak was particularly impressive, highlighting his vision and playmaking skills. Sandro Tonali also had moments of impact but lacked consistency, especially as Brighton took the lead. His performance indicated the need for improvement, as his flashes of brilliance were not enough to affect the game's outcome meaningfully, having a 7.0 match rating, 1 key pass, 5 out of 8 ground duels won, 2 interceptions and 4 tackles. However, given the pivotal roles that Guimaraes and Tonali play in generating chances for Newcastle, many fans were baffled when both were substituted out of the game. This decision by Eddie Howe raised eyebrows, with some observers suggesting that it was a critical mistake. Speaking to the Northern Echo after the full-time whistle, Howe admitted his substitutions did not work, saying, "To be honest, I don't think our substitutions helped our performance. I'll be the first to give you an honest opinion. Sometimes the opposite happens. You make changes and it elevates the team. Whenever I make changes, I'm hoping for that." He then also went on to reveal he did not like how poorly his team chased the game in the final 20 minutes or so. "For whatever reason today it didn't. I didn't really like us in the last 20 minutes and we didn't chase the game particularly well. That's something we'll look at. Looking ahead, I hope that Howe and his coaching staff prioritize variations in set pieces, particularly from corners and free kicks like during 22-23 season. Currently, Newcastle has shown wastefulness in these situations, which is concerning given the increasing importance of set pieces in tight matches. Other teams, recognizing the significance of slim margins, have been more deliberate and strategic in their approach. For instance, Arsenal has gained a reputation as the set-piece kings, while Manchester City has recently secured wins through well-executed set plays. Even Bournemouth showcased ingenuity with a clever set piece against Arsenal. Newcastle must adopt a more focused approach to set pieces to capitalize on scoring opportunities. Improved execution in these situations could significantly enhance their goal-scoring potential and overall performance in upcoming matches. Then moving to the referee problem. Following Newcastle United's 1-0 defeat to Brighton and Hove Albion, manager Eddie Howe voiced his frustration over an early VAR decision that denied his team a potential penalty. The incident occurred in the 8th minute when Joel Veltman handled the ball in the penalty area after slipping, a moment that left both Lewis Hall and thousands of Newcastle fans convinced a penalty should have been awarded. Despite a thorough review by VAR, the on-field referee Peter Banks opted not to overturn his original decision, prompting disappointment within the Newcastle camp. Funny enough, in the 2 games Peter Banks has refereed Newcastle, Newcastle has lost both of them. In his post-match comments, Howe revealed that his coaching staff were adamant that Veltman's handball warranted a penalty, saying, "I haven't seen it back, but a couple of our coaches looked at it back and were adamant it was a penalty." When you have that kind of start in the game, you want a goal for your endeavors, and that was all that was missing in the opening 35 minutes. If we were 2-0 up, you'd go, that was one of the best performances we've had in a long time. Goals always change perspectives of performances, and that's why I have to keep some kind of perspective on that. Howe rightly pointed out that while a penalty could have shifted the game's momentum, Newcastle should not rely solely on such decisions to secure points. With dominant performances featuring talents like Bruno Guimaraes, Anthony Gordon, Joelinton and Alexander Isak, who missed big chances, there should be no excuse for failing to convert chances into goals. The team is likely facing a confidence issue, where just one goal could open the floodgates for more. However, it is crucial to remember that goals will not come if the team does not take shots. The need for Newcastle to find a way to score from open play is paramount, as they seek to build on their promising performances and turn opportunities into tangible results on the pitch. However, there were some standout performers for Newcastle against Brighton. Young left-back Lewis Hall, who made his loan move from Chelsea permanent over the summer, showcased his considerable technical quality. His abilities were evident as he played a well-timed ball down the line to release Anthony Gordon, demonstrating his skill in possession and ability to contribute going forward, having a 7.4 match rating, 2 clearances, 5 tackles, 0 times dribbled past, 100 touches, 69 out of 77 accurate passes, which translated to a 90% passing accuracy, 3 key passes, 1 accurate cross, 6 accurate long balls, 6 out of 9 ground duels won, and 1 out of 2 aerial duels won. Joelinton, with a 7.2 match rating, worked tirelessly throughout the match, contributing defensively with 1 clearance, 3 interceptions, 3 tackles, 0 times dribbled past, and offensively with 70 touches, 42 out of 48 accurate passes, meaning an 88% passing accuracy, 2 key passes, 1 out of 1 accurate long balls, 3 out of 3 successful dribbles, 6 out of 9 ground duels won, 2 out of 5 aerial duels won. However, despite his strong performance, there were notable areas for improvement, particularly regarding his goal-scoring contributions. Joelinton had 3 shots off target, 1 shot blocked, and missed 2 big chances throughout the match. These missed opportunities highlight a persistent need for more clinical finishing from him, especially as a striker turned midfielder. Then, as Newcastle United prepares for crucial fixtures against Chelsea and Arsenal, 2 players are facing the risk of suspension due to the Premier League's yellow card rules. According to league regulations, any player who accumulates 5 yellow cards in their first 19 matches will receive a 1-match suspension. Currently, Joelinton is on 4 yellow cards, and he was joined by Dan Burn, who received a booking in the recent one. 0 defeat to Brighton. This means that both players are just 1 caution away from facing a suspension. If either Joelinton or Burn receives a yellow card during the upcoming match against Chelsea on Sunday, they will be sidelined for the home game against Arsenal on November 2nd. It's worth noting that the 5 yellow card rule does not apply to Carabao Cup matches, so they wouldn't miss the midweek fixture. Should they manage to avoid a booking against Chelsea, but receive one against Arsenal, they would then miss the subsequent trip to Nottingham Forest on November 10th. In the event that Joelinton is suspended, Newcastle has several options in midfield, including Joe Willock, Sean Longstaff, and Lewis Miley, all of whom are ready to step in. For the centre-back position, if Burn receives a yellow card, Lloyd Kelly would likely take his place in the lineup. With both Joelinton and Burn on the brink of suspension, Newcastle will need to navigate these upcoming matches carefully. The potential absence of either player could impact the team's performance, making it crucial for them to remain disciplined in the face of high-stakes games against Chelsea and Arsenal. Talking about Dan Burn, then in a secret low-profile contract agreement, Newcastle United has triggered an extension in Dan Burn's contract, ensuring the 32-year-old defender will remain at the club beyond the current season, and through June 2026. Burn had originally signed his last contract in October 2023, one set to run until the end of the 2024-25 campaign. However, the deal contained an option for the club to extend his stay for at least 1 more season, which has now been activated. Burn said, "It means everything to me to play for this club and to sign a new contract. I said when I signed that I didn't want this to be just a stopgap signing to keep us up. I wanted to be here for a long time. So personally, it feels even more of an achievement signing this one than it was actually signing here in the first place. I'm delighted and looking forward to the next couple of seasons." Newcastle United head coach Eddie Howe said, "Dan is a leader on and off the pitch, so we are delighted he has extended his stay with us. He is a key part of our squad and has played a huge role in our progress since his arrival. He knows exactly what it means to represent this great club and is hungry to succeed, and that can only help the team and the club going forward." Then, as Newcastle United prepares for the upcoming transfer window, their priority remains securing a right winger. However, the Magpies seem to be eyeing additional targets, particularly a promising young playmaker. The latest player drawing interest is Oscar Gluck, a 20-year-old talent currently making waves at RB Salzburg. The Israeli playmaker has captured the attention of several top clubs across Europe, with Newcastle joining a competitive field that includes Aston Villa, Arsenal, Manchester City, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, and Borussia Dortmund. Reports suggest that RB Salzburg could be willing to accept offers around €35 million, £29 million, for Gluck in January, making this a potentially appealing move for Newcastle. While signing Gluck wouldn't directly address their right-winger issue, it could allow manager Eddie Howe to rethink and reshape his system. While Gluck is an exciting prospect, boasting 5 goals and 3 assists in just 14 appearances this season, his age means he is likely to be a long-term investment rather than an immediate solution. Howe has a reputation for integrating young players gradually, so even if Newcastle secures his signature, Gluck may see limited action in the latter half of the season. Given the high level of interest from other prominent clubs, if Newcastle can secure Gluck's services, it could represent a significant coup. The player is reportedly open to a move to the Premier League, which further enhances Newcastle's chances. While Gluck may not resolve the immediate challenges facing Newcastle, pursuing this talented playmaker could be a strategic move that pays dividends in the future. This is certainly a situation worth monitoring as the transfer window approaches. Then, if you want to know the hidden truth behind Newcastle's owners and their imminent plans to cheat and make Newcastle dominate the Premier League, click the video link on the screen now.